watching News Plus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV, and we are broadcasting to you live from Harare. These are your headlines tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has underscored the importance of embracing new technologies to accelerate infrastructure development and enhance service delivery. Stay tuned for the President's remarks at the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. We give you details on a case involving a suspected mentally challenged man from Madlambuzi in Matabeleland South who allegedly murdered 5 people and injured 2. Police have since arrested the suspect on murder and attempted murder charges. Some good news for residents in the capital, Harare. With just an annual subscription of $2 United States and an initial registration fee of just $1, one can access healthcare services at council clinics across the city. Stay tuned for more details on this landmark development. And still on News Plus, in sport news, we give you the latest at Dynamos Football Club. A member of the executive has been suspended following disturbances at the Harare Giants training ground. Details coming through here on News Plus. And now for a closer look at the stories making the headlines. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has called for a new era of technological partnership between Africa and Japan, saying cutting-edge innovations are crucial to revolutionizing the continent's key sectors and ensuring no one and no country is left behind in the global digital shift and development. Now, President Mnangagwa said this while addressing the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. Our correspondent Fungi Kwaramba, who is in Japan, compiled the following report.
Addressing the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development TICAD, President Mnangagwa outlined a vision where Zimbabwe and Africa at large forge synergies with Japanese firms, prioritizing critical technology and skills transfer. Currently, Zimbabwe, the president adds, is actively seeking to bridge the digital divide, especially in rural areas, by building modern infrastructure and providing services to all parts of the country.
Zimbabwe is actively pursuing regional digital infrastructure projects to bridge the digital divide, especially in rural areas. Africa's citizens and economies must be enabled to fully participate in the digital age. New technologies must impact our agriculture, mining, blue economies, infrastructure development, and social service delivery.
President Mnangagwa says, as the world shifts to green energy, African countries which are endowed with rich mineral resources such as lithium and rare metals must be brought on board to create synergies that are sustainable and impactful for the people.
Climate change action and adaptation in Africa requires substantial and predictable financing that go in line with the socio-economic development strategies of our countries. The global shift to green energy must see Africa leverage our abundant critical minerals to fully participate in energy value chains. To achieve this, we look forward to synergies with Japanese companies and other investors while also fostering technology and skills transfer.
This year's summit has seen Africa and Japan pioneer a new chapter in their relations, moving from made in Japan to made together. The model saw Japan taking a keen interest in Africa's infrastructure projects, including the massive Batoka Gorge hydroelectric project on the Zimbabwe-Zambia border, the long dormant Grand Inga Dam development on the Congo River, and Zimbabwe's reserves of rare earth minerals. President Mnangagwa says these must lead to the co-creation of a future that improves the lives of African people.
The enduring partnership between Japan and Africa must see us co-create the future we all want, and that is towards a higher quality of life for our peoples. No one and no country must be left behind.
For Zimbabwe, the forum's focus is a strategic alignment as key areas like infrastructure, industrialization, food security and stability dovetail perfectly with the nation's foreign policy and its Central Vision 2030 goal of achieving an upper middle income status.
And now to help us look into the diplomatic and economic significance of Zimbabwe's participation at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, let's cross over to Ranga Mataire, the Zim Paper's group political editor. Good evening, Ranga. Ranga, the theme is centered around co-creation, with Japan and the Global South forming a partnership. Now, moving from Made in Japan to Made Together. How important is this policy for Zimbabwe and Africa? This is in terms of economic development.
In terms of Zimbabwe, this is a gateway to a new lifeline, to a new, partnership. The good thing about this is that Japan is seeking an equal partnership built out of mutual trust. It is not dictatorial, it is not conditional, but it is a partnership which seeks to build on a humanistic kind of an arrangement. So in terms of Zimbabwe, I think it is critical, especially given its aspiration to attain an upper middle income society. As you are aware, Japan is an expert in terms of cutting edge technology. So Zimbabwe will be able to exploit in terms of technological transfer. And I think the issue that Japan is also competent in terms of infrastructure development aligns well with the Zimbabwe's vision for 2030 in terms of economic transformation. So in terms of Zimbabwe, I think this is a critical platform for exploiting a new trade frontiers instead of the traditional ones that Zimbabwe has been used to. So I think for Zimbabwe it is very critical. For Africa, I think it opens doors for Africa in order also, as I've alluded before, to exploit non-traditional trade frontiers in the areas of mining, in the areas of manufacturing, in the area of agriculture. So for both Zimbabwe and Africa, this is a critical platform which offers a lifeline in terms of economic transformation and development.
Now, Ranga, President Mnangagwa also had the opportunity to sit down with the Prime Minister of Japan with Zimbabwe's bid for the non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council being one of the subjects that were discussed. So in light of that, how significant is Japan's support to Zimbabwe's bid at the UN?
So the support for Zimbabwe coming from Japan is the effect of swaying the Asian bloc. Already Zimbabwe has support from SADC and support from African Union, and there's the support from a number of Western countries. So the support from Japan adds on to the support that Zimbabwe already has in terms of its bid to become a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. It has lots of advantage. If Zimbabwe successfully, becomes a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, as you are aware, Zimbabwe is coming from a period where it was maligned and ostracized. Sanctions were imposed on Zimbabwe. So being a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council offers an opportunity for Zimbabwe to reshape its international image and also advance its national security, national interest. It will also offer Zimbabwe to contribute towards global peace. The UN's National Security Council is one of the most powerful bodies for maintaining peace and security. And Zimbabwe can directly participate in discussions and decisions related to preventing and resolving conflicts. There is also another advantage that Zimbabwe carries. It's not just representing its national interests, it carries the African voice. As you are aware, the Global South has peculiar challenges that need to be discussed at that level.
Thank you very much, Ranga. Appreciate your time and the insights that you've just shared with us. Now, on Wednesday, our correspondent Eben Mabunda looked at the trade figures between Japan and Zimbabwe, unpacking existing opportunities to enhance trade between the two countries. We give you a recap of that analysis.
Well, good evening. The value of trade between Zimbabwe and Japan is currently sitting at about $80 million, having grown 2.5 times from a 2017 value of about $27 million. Now, when you look at that, of course, matrix, you'd find Zimbabwe is a net importer. Let's start by looking at what it is that Zimbabwe is importing from Japan. That's pretty much machinery. You've got trucks, vehicles, and of course, industrial chemicals that have dominated the value of imports from Japan, owing to the advancement where industrialization is concerned on the part of Japan, with a value of $62 million worth of imports, of course, sourced from Japan. That's in 2023-2024. Now, moving on to what Zimbabwe has been exporting to Japan, you've got your tobacco, your precious
And in other news, police in Matabeleland South Province have arrested a mentally unstable man after he reportedly ran amok and killed 5 people. The suspect, Pamani Svanda, aged 43, became violent and attacked 7 people with a log, a blunt object, while moving aggressively around the village. Now, it is reported that he was targeting anyone who he was seeing in his way. In a statement, National Police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati confirmed that 5 people died and 2 others were injured on August 20 in Mzilikazi, Matabeleland South Province. Now, Commissioner Nyati said the 5 victims were identified by their next of kin as Elliot Kupe, aged 101 years, Vuto Chuma, 97 years of age, Constance Svanda, 66, Tiffan Surprise Ndlovu, aged 6, and 72-year-old Katra Matsika. Now, the 2 injured females aged 90 and 41 were admitted at Mzilikazi Clinic and Plumtree District Hospital for treatment. Now, the following report is looking at how Harare is piloting a first-of-its-kind healthcare model that could change the way residents access clinics and healthcare. For just $1 to register and $2 a year, residents who subscribe to this fund will have access to consultations, to medicines, and even wellness services. Faith Nyade gives us more details on how this will work.
The city of Harare is rethinking what it means for citizens to get affordable healthcare. City fathers have come up with a community health equity fund, or simply SHEF, a first of its kind for the capital that is designed to guarantee equitable access to affordable, quality health services for all members. All this for a once-off registration fee of just $1 and an annual fee of just $2. This will allow access to consultations with nurses and doctors, essential medicines, and even membership to clinic wellness centers. The scheme is being rolled out across the city's polyclinics.
We are going to get $2 per year from the residents, and this $2 per year will enable residents to use our clinics, maternity health, and many other services that they normally get from the clinics. And the money will be used at the particular clinic that is paying. So if it's a community on Harare South, the money will be used there. Mbare, it will be used there. And this will greatly improve the health services that we provide to the clinic.
For many families, where healthcare costs often mean choosing between treatment and putting food on the table, this model could be a game changer. According to officials, the SHEF is built on the belief that while not everyone falls sick at once, collective contributions can sustainably finance continuous service delivery.
We don't all fall ill at the same time. So we all mobilize funds. Those who are ill today are supported by the funds that we have mobilized as a community. Of course, together with the health services fund that is coming from the City Health Department.
UNFPA has seeded $700,000 United States dollars into the project, while ZB Bank, Harare Municipal Medical Aid Services, and the City of Harare are all chipping in one way or the other.
Actually, it's not $300,000, over $700,000 as a catalytic fund. We'll see how it goes when we roll it out. We'll assess when you have a project, you implement, you take stock, and on the basis of the results, other partners will say, this is working. The lives of the communities are changing.
Crucially, the clinics are expected to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, addressing long-standing complaints about limited access to emergency care in densely populated suburbs. But beyond cheaper consultations, the fund also introduces funeral cover at just 50 cents, an acknowledgement of the heavy financial strain families face during bereavement.
ZB is coming through with the funeral cover, which will cost just 50 cents per month for members of Chef. I have to emphasize that if you're not a member of Chef, you pay $50 a month.
Residents associations who were consulted during planning say the initiative is a welcome relief. They caution, however, that without proper accountability structures, the fund risks being abused like the other schemes before it.
It is also showing that it's a pro-poor initiative, but again, it's innovation around how best we can be able to resource mobilize in terms of funding health. As you are aware also that our local authority has been grappling to finance health due to poor revenue collection.
The Community Health Equity Fund will be piloted in Harare Southern District, starting with Mbare, Hopley, Waterfalls, Sunnydale, Arcadia, Braeside, Hatfield and satellite clinics before expanding across the city in 2026. If managed well, Chef could redefine health financing in Zimbabwe. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Faith Nyaude in Harare.
King Mzilikazi legacy in Daba set for Friday. That story right ahead.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind on it, let the lights of children.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Fans, one game. One of them paid for quality, the other didn't. ZTN Prime now offers premium live Premier Soccer League matches behind a paywall. Skip the stress. Watch your team in high definition, uninterrupted and in real time. ZTN Prime paywall matches because real fans watch live.
Thank you very much for staying tuned to News Plus this Thursday evening. Now, with the annual King Mzilikazi commemorations fast approaching, preparations are underway for a special seminar in Bulawayo aimed at reviving the legacy of the great leader. Zim Papers, in partnership with Kimri Publicity and Resources Mobilization, will host the event on Friday at the large City Hall. Now, running under the theme Reclaiming African Heritage Through the Life and Legacy of King Mzilikazi, this seminar is scheduled for half past 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, invited participants include historians and researchers, traditional leaders, policymakers, civil society organizations, academics, as well as residents of Bulawayo, alongside representatives from government ministries. Now, member of the royal family, Prince Zwide Khumalo, said reviving the king's legacy was critical, describing him as a cultural giant and unifier of diverse ethnic groups.
King Mzilikazi created a nation from a diverse national setup. Many ethnic groups came together and they formed what we call the Umthwakazi nation, or what they call the Ndebele nation today. And that achievement cannot have been achieved by anybody else, and it has not been achieved by anybody else because since Mzilikazi created this nation, no one has been able to create a similar nation of this nature. Therefore, it is important that the Ndebele must celebrate and remember King Mzilikazi and communicate with ancestors through King Mzilikazi, so that this commemoration is a spiritual exercise for the whole nation and not for the Kumalos only. The chiefs are very important in this whole exercise in that they have the people, they are the custodians of our culture, and therefore we expect them to lead us and work closely with the Kumalos.
Now, these commemorations are aimed to remind Zimbabweans of the King's lasting contribution to peace and unity. One of the organizers, Mbigilelo Khumalo, confirmed that preparations were at an advanced stage, adding that the seminar was designed to be inclusive and open to all.
Lapha simema nje wonke umuntu owakuleli lizwe kumbe uvela ngaphandle kwelizwe ukuthi ngolesihlanu lona lolu oluhlaka 22 inyanga kaAugust ekuseni ngo10 o'clock siyabe silengxoxo lapho esixoxa khona kakhulu ngomdabulo wesizwe owabumba lesi sizwe esingaka esamandebele ogama lakhe lingumzilikazi kaMajobane. Yikho sikhangelele ukuthi kulabantu abangaba khona ikakhulu ingatsha zikahulumende, iHome Affairs, iMinistry of Local Government and Public Works, iTourism, le local government ukuthi babe ingxenye yale indaba.
Now, moving on, gender-based violence remains a cause for concern in Zimbabwe, with 1 in every 3 women nationally having experienced some form of abuse in their lifetime. Now, to address this issue, the Zimbabwe government, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme and other organizations, launched a mobile one-stop center access on Wednesday for gender-based violence survivors in Motoko. Now, this initiative provides essential services including healthcare, violence counseling and reporting, and birth registration. Our reporter Sharon Munjenjima witnessed this launch.
The initiative was piloted in 2023, and 5 centers have since been established so far in Manicaland, Matabeleland South, Mashonaland West and East provinces. Speaking to journalists after launching the initiative, Women's Affairs, SMEs and Community Development Minister Monica Mchangwa said government is committed to ensuring gender-based violence ends as it disrupts development.
As a country, we are really looking at a time when we will have zero tolerance to gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is a cost to the development of any country. And it is critical that as a country, we can't just sit and have a few one-stop centers which we have in the country. It is important to give this service, to go to the people who are underserviced, to make sure that they also can actually talk about their inner problems.
In 2022, the Zimbabwe Gender Commission conducted a study that revealed a gap in access to justice for survivors of the scourge. This influenced the idea to have comprehensive services stationed in normally hard-to-reach areas far away from towns. Zimbabwe Gender Commission says so far over 5,000 people have been assisted through the mobile one-stop center.
And you find that a lot of unreported cases are a result that the services are far away from the people. So people end up not reporting the cases. But with this mobile one-stop center, we find that we are reaching out to many people and that we are going to be able to provide services to our people.
Over 400,000 United States dollars has been injected into the initiative. This funding culminated in 223 legal aid cases, over 1,600 civil registration documents issued, and close to 2,000 receiving sexual and reproductive health services, as well as psychosocial support.
Has placed in about $500,000 in support in terms of financial support, but we are also mobilizing other resources internally, to also augment And we do believe that while we really require financial resources to take forward, sometimes it is also important to bring in the technical support and the technical expertise, to support, implementation of these programs.
Mutoko villagers have welcomed the program with the hope that it will help curb abuse of especially young girls.
Iwe ukaona panikisido pako parodzi mwana mudiki iwe uri sabu uchasungwa mesi hapana ipo unosara saka totoita kuti ndinonge ndinoziswe kuona kuti apa pamba mwana auya uyu haasiwepo ari kuchagi ashanya achiti.
The mobile one-stop center for gender-based violence survivors was launched at Chatiza Secondary School and attended by thousands of villagers in support of the initiative. Shira Mjenjema for ZTN News in Mutoko.
Now, in other news, government through the national pharmaceutical company NatPharm is working to strengthen the country's medicine supply chain by increasing the capacity for manufacturers to produce more medicines locally. Now, stakeholders in the health sector convened for the Health Products Supply Chain Management Dialogue in the capital this Thursday, where exploring other financing models to ease the burden on the central government also took center stage. Mirirai Nsingo attended the dialogue and filed the following report.
NatPharm is stepping up efforts to ensure health facilities even in marginalized communities have adequate medicines. This comes amid reports of lack of smooth supply of medicines in some health facilities. The supply challenges have also been attributed to over-reliance on imported medicines.
We've engaged local manufacturers to try and improve the uptake from them so that they also increase their utilization. So we've identified 49 products that we are supporting local manufacturers. We've just finished signing contracts with them and MOUs to make sure that they supply and we support them on those particular products. And we are also targeting friendly countries that are willing to share some technology with us, that we begin to buy from them with an intention of transferring technology in the long run.
Development partners have reiterated capacitating local manufacturers was the way to go.
We have locally funded, locally supported stocks at NatPharm so that we have the local pharmaceutical security arrangement in place in Zimbabwe.
Legislators noted the medicine supply chain challenges needed urgent redress to avoid drug shortages.
So we discussed on the issues, where are we getting it wrong? For some of the drugs to be said they expired before they are delivered to the intended people, yet we are in need of those drugs. So we discussed on some of the challenges in terms of where exactly we are missing it out.
The government admits the system has been facing drug supply chain challenges and it is working on building stronger systems that can stand economic shocks.
The final challenge, of course, is to make sure that everyone, when they leave a hospital, they have got enough supplies of medicines. And this is what Zimbabwe was always known about, that in the health institutions you get your drugs as you leave. And this is a huge challenge that we are trying to fight through strategies such as this, but through real actions on the ground.
This is a step in the right direction that will go a long way in reducing drug shortages in health facilities. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirirai Nsingo.
Next, we take a look at what's happening in Hwange. A community garden is transforming lives and protecting wildlife. What was once a story of hunger and poaching is now becoming one of hope, self-reliance and conservation. More in the following report.
In the heart of Matabeleland North's drought-stricken terrain, this 1-hectare garden is rewriting the survival story of Kasebe village. Rows of onions, cabbages, and butternuts now stand where desperation once pushed many into poaching and illegal charcoal burning. This project, supported by Zimparks and the International Fund for Animal Welfare, has turned a vulnerable community into a hub of climate-smart agriculture.
Food security issues are clearly demonstrated that once supported, communities are capable of producing and can sell and can earn a livelihood. Not only are we talking about socio-economic development, but we are also talking about the health of the communities themselves. They are producing healthy products from this garden.
For years, locals here in Matetsi Ward 1 lived on the edge of survival. With little rainfall and no jobs, many risked their lives setting snares for antelope or venturing into the forest for firewood. This was the harsh reality for residents like Dorothy Sibande.
Patakatanga kuwane igarden tovoka kuti takakwanisa kuti ngwenoti mukwanisa kuti tobhadharira vana vedu chikoro tokwanisa kuwana chikafu chatinorya pezvino zvatinorima atichinoyavura kuyavura kwose kwakabva kwapera unshaji nkurwana vanhu avachinondawo kwavasinokorera kusvika.
Her testimony was echoed by the younger generation. Kameli Ndlovu, who has worked in the garden since its inception 2 years ago, represents a new path for local youth.
Ukubonga abasilethela ingadi le kasiwe njengama youth isinceda kakhulu ingadi ngokuthi asibalekise into enjengezidakamizwa sasithola isikhathi sokuthi sinjani sisebenze njalo futhi asinceda futhi ukuthi sithole ukudla then singathengisa khona lapha then siyakhona ukuthi emizini yethu sithenge impuphu landline then abanye bancedisa ukuthi bakhona ukubhadala abantwana school fees.
Kasibi Community Garden chairperson Pascal Chuma says on their first harvest, they pocketed over 2,000 United States dollars. The community hopes to pocket more money this season.
Tine chishuwo chekuti dai taramba tichiita nonzi continuous production. Yes, pa garden rineri handiti. Ende uyezve tiri kutarisira kuti pa security nekufamba kwenguva tokwanisa kutsvaga security anozopota achigadha munoma nditi kuvharidza kuti mbavha dzinoba dzisabe.
The Kasibi Community Garden now stands as a model for the government's policy on village business units, proving that with the right support, conversations and development can grow side by side.
And still on our local stories, the completed section of Alps Road in northern Harare has been opened to traffic, marking further progress in the government's ongoing drive to modernize the capital's road network under the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program 2. Now, the rehabilitation of Alps Road, stretching about 17 kilometers up to Hatcliffe Extension, has been carried out by the Central Mechanical and Equipment Department, CMED. Now, the first 8 kilometers section was reconstructed in September 2023, and the remaining 9 kilometers has now been completed. Transport and Infrastructure Development Minister Felix Mona, who presided over the official opening, said road rehabilitation is not isolated to big cities.
Vanoziva mvhiki rapera tatiri kuNembudziya tiriko mangwana tiri kuNkai svondo rinotevera tiri kuGungumbani tiri kuenda kwese ikoko zvichireva izvo kuti basa iri rinoita kuti vasati vasvikirwa nechirongwa vave nekuvimba kuti tinosvika ikoko. Cumulatively tine almost close to 100 kilometers dzemarodhi ave vagari vemunana green roads ati kusara tagadzira kuisa tara, saka muchaona kuti musha unenge wavandudzwa zvakanaka. Tabva ipapo ndo chirongwa phase 1. Phase 2 ndo iri kutanga muna February 2026 yandataura HHU toya pana Red Drive mainterchange iwayo.
Now, the new revitalized route is expected to promote the city's tourism and business activity, given its strategic position that links suburbs and transit routes. Now, the road connects Zimbabwe's biggest waste management facility, Geopomona, and other resort destinations.
The reconstruction of Alps Road is a critical project for Harare with far-reaching implications for the province's economy. The previous state of the road hindered the local commerce, causing business to lose customers. So by revitalizing this route, we improve access to markets and reduce travel times for commuters and transporters, thus acting as a catalyst for economic reactivation.
Stay tuned to News Plus for some global updates.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
This is Thursday's edition of News Plus, and we now take a look at what's happening in the world around us. We start with South Africa. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health has told MPs that non-South Africans are only entitled to emergency medical services at public health facilities, not the full package of comprehensive health care provided to South Africans. Now, Dr. Sibongiseni Ndlomo said this in Parliament on Thursday while addressing MPs in light of the videos that have been trending on social media showing Operation Dudula members turning back foreign nationals from clinics and some hospitals. Now, he said the conclusion from the National Health Insurance public hearings was that the country should provide emergency services to all in terms of United Nations rules. He also said comprehensive health care is for South Africans and that a streamlined approach was needed to deal with the matter. Now, moving on, a China-Kenya cultural exchange event was held in Nairobi, bringing together officials, scholars, students, and media from across Africa to reflect on history and promote a shared vision of peace. Now, the exchange event, titled Echoes of Peace, stressed that young people in both China and Kenya must continue to remember the lessons of war, safeguard historical truth, and protect hard-won peace.
Peace is important for everyone. It is a very significant and a weighty sentence which signifies that each and everyone deserves peace to be able to prosper in the nation that we are currently living in. It speaks to the sense of peace and what we should all be promoting across countries and even in our individuals, as individuals.
Now, gunmen in northwest Nigeria have stormed a mosque, killing Muslim worshippers in what the local government has called a reprisal attack. Now, police in Katsina State said 17 worshippers were shot dead by the assailants, known locally as bandits. But other reports from the region say the death toll is higher. Now, this mosque, located in the village of Unguwan, Mantau, was attacked on Tuesday because local residents had ambushed and killed a number of bandits 2 days earlier. This is what the Katsina State official Nasser Mauzu has said. And banditry is rife in northwestern Nigeria, where armed gangs target locals, often for financial gain. And still on our global stories, China's deputy permanent representative to the UN urged the international community to set aside ideological prejudices and geopolitical calculations in the fight against terrorism, calling for a united front to combat the growing global threat. Now, speaking at a UN Security Council meeting on counter-terrorism, Geng Shuang, the representative, warned that amid escalating global instability and recurring regional crisis worldwide, frequent and deadly terrorist attacks are inflicting mounting human and societal costs.
随着国际形势动荡加剧，热点问题此起彼伏，恐怖威胁在全球回潮蔓延。 重大恐袭事件多发频发，造成的伤害与冲击不断上升。国际社会应当加强团结合作，摒弃意识形态偏见和地缘政治考量，筑牢反恐统一战线，共同打击各种形式的恐怖主义。
And now in the Middle East, as the Israeli military advances with a controversial plan to seize control of Gaza City and displace its population southward, Palestinian residents are mounting a steadfast defense of their homeland, enduring a crippling siege, widespread hunger, and the complete collapse of educational systems.
احنا اهل غزه 24 ساعه في ظروف صعبه، وقبل ما تتهجم اسرائيل على قطاع غزه مش هنقطع من غزه، هذه غزه بلادنا، مهما تأمل فينا ومهما التحدي ومهما الصمود احنا صامدين في بلادنا، وعمل العطش وعمل عائلات انبادت عن الوجود، قلنا ضاع ما في مستقبل، حتى اطفال يعني عندنا 14 نفر 14 نفر، اصغر واحده راح عليها سنتين من الروضه، وعندي جامعات وعندي توجيهي وعندي ثانويه وعندي اعتديه راح عليهم.
Now, the ancient bricks of the Bahrain fort continue to tell a story that spans millennia, holding invaluable artifacts that serve as a testament to the prosperous trade along the maritime Silk Road. Now, Bahrain, the smallest country in the Middle East, is home to 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the Bahrain fort near the country's capital, Manama.
Bahrain Fort site is the most important archaeological site in Bahrain. This site was inscribed in the World Heritage List at UNESCO 2005. This site was the capital of Dilmun civilization, covering Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the center was here in the Bahrain. And the Dilmunite people were trading with other civilizations.
And coming up is our business news.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
News Plus now gives you updates from the world of business. Now, the Victoria Falls International Airport is experiencing an unprecedented passenger boom, shattering pre-pandemic records. This is driven by a surge in meetings, incentives, conferences and events, tourism, and a strategic drive to attract more airlines. Now, during the first 7 months of 2025, the airport received 287,597 passengers in a significant 17.5% increase over the same period last year. ACZ Public Relations and Communications Manager Tonderai Mangombe said the remarkable growth is directly linked to the airport's 2016 upgrade and a concerted development strategy.
We also activating the MOU, which was recently signed between ACZ and China Jiangsu. As you know, the Victoria Falls International Airport and Arajinga International Airport were both built by China Jiangsu. So we signed a MOU maintenance program, which they will implement, activate. So what we want to do is want to restore Victoria Falls to its prime. That means they're going to refurbish and facelift the terminal, the airside apron, and all the installations that are in the airport, including even the aviation security equipment.
Now, Zimbabwe's 5 million small to medium enterprises contribute over 65% to the country's gross domestic product, yet most remain informal and underfunded. The government is working on simplifying the formalization process and, together with market regulators, exploring new financing options. Now, plans are also underway for a dedicated SME stock exchange, the Zimbabwe Entrepreneurs Exchange. We get more from the following report.
Zimbabwe is home to more than 5 million small to medium enterprises, contributing over 65% of the country's GDP. Yet, most of these operate informally, struggling to access adequate funding to scale their businesses. Speaking at an SMEs workshop hosted by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe, SECZIM, Various stakeholders underscored the need for tailored solutions to support the sector.
I think what is limiting the SMEs from formalization is the issue of checks. And I don't know whether we can skate around that for the longest because we will never get past that hurdle.
Nyaya yechino chinonzi collateral. Nyaya iyoyo inoita kuti vanhu wobu vasauye kuzotora mari idzodzo. Sekutaura kwanga kuchitwa ma-statistics naMinister Maimchangwa, vataura kuti 56% of the people vari kuma-SMEs they are women. And kazhinji panonzi collateral munhu anenge asina kana iri imba anenge asina zvikwanisiro.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Honorable Monica Muchanga, said government is working on simplifying the formalization process for SMEs.
Assembled in South Africa, and all of us were talking about the same thing, that SMEs are playing a critical role in the development of their countries. So to support SMEs is not charity, it is actually a strategic step towards development of our country.
Financing for small businesses is one factor that has hindered growth in the sector, but now the government, in collaboration with agencies such as SECZIM, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, and the Financial Securities and Exchange, is exploring alternative funding mechanisms to capitalize SMEs across the country.
We wanted to provide a platform where we could get first-hand from the stakeholders, which are the SMEs, in terms of the solutions that we think we have, but want their input into how we can make those solutions more acceptable, perhaps more, applicable to the situation.
As a precursor to this, the announcement of a new stock exchange in the pipeline was a highlight of the workshop. The Zimbabwe Entrepreneurs Exchange, the ZEX, a board dedicated to SMEs with reduced listing requirements.
What we are doing with the ZEX is actually creating a platform which is tech-driven, primarily targeting SMEs for purposes of raising capital. We have observed over the years that our stock exchange platforms have been mostly more of the elite platforms. So what we are doing is we are simplifying the processes, we are simplifying the onboarding requirements in order to allow small to medium entities.
Meanwhile, FinSec has rolled out the Growth Enterprise Market Portal, a private digital marketplace linking SMEs with investors seeking alternative opportunities.
That's why we come up with structures in which we have an intermediate. If we can create certain special purpose funds, have those registered to SEC, list the fund instead, and then start to bring in the funding. So we then have to go to the drawing board and say, let's now start looking at the funding side, and then we listen to the financiers.
As calls grow louder for some SME-focused financing, initiatives such as the ZEX and the GEM portal could prove game changers, opening new doors for entrepreneurs to thrive and expand beyond the informal sector. Eben Mabunda, ZTN Prime in Harare.
Stay tuned to News Plus for entertainment and sports updates.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized. And yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z-Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Morgan and Tendai Dembo have applauded organizers of the In Focus Artists Wealth Lab, which empowered musicians with financial literacy knowledge at the Zimbabwe College of Music in Harare. Now, artists have been encouraged to become a part of the program in order to monetize their gifts.
wesanita art ndokurudzira yamujoine this program yatanga yakanakira isusu vaimbi nevemedia nevanofambisa nyaya dzedu nezvatinoita. So I thank you.
Tinoitwa tendai nembo tenaita zvepamusoro wenyoka kunina wamoke asi ona tine adverts shops yatipawo mavoucher kunina mogeni namai inoona kumudhara nemabasa avo akaita ende tadzidza zvakawanda pane zvakachitika padis forum kuti maartist hatifaniri kutya kuapproacha macorporates, hatifaniri kutya kuapproacha anyone watiri, because that's our power as artists. And ndopatoraramira, it's not just art, it's a business yekuti tikakwanisa kupartner nemacorporates vanenge vachida kutibatsira even nemabroadcasters vedu zvinotibatsira zvakawanda. Saka artists musatye, let's approach these guys and let's take our art to the next level.
Now, popular Ghanaian musician Shatta Wale has been detained in a tax investigation that's linked to his purchase of a luxury car. His yellow Lamborghini was seized at the request of the US, which alleged that the vehicle was tied to the proceeds of a criminal enterprise. However, his management said the artist was detained over tax obligations. Now, Wale, whose real name is Charles Ni Ama, is one of Ghana's best-known stars who has built a hugely successful career on Jamaica's dancehall sound and boosted his global profile by collaborating with Beyoncé on her 2019 song Already. Now, coming up on News Plus is sports.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. Right.
Put your seatbelt on.
Now, Dynamos have suspended the club owner's son, Harry Lusengo, after he went wild at the team's training today. Harry Lusengo, who is also the team's kit manager, arrived at their training base in Belvedere in a private vehicle and blocked the facility gate. And after training, the players boarded the team bus as usual, ready to leave. Now, Lusengo then instructed them to disembark and find own transport. The club said the behavior, which saw players walk to the main road to find public transport, was unbecoming. Now, this incident exposes the club owner, Bernard Marriott Lusengo, who for long stands accused of running the club down through unprofessionalism. And still on sport, Highlanders' new head coach Peter de Jong has officially resumed work with the Bulawayo Giants after his work permit was finally approved this week. Now, the Dutchman, who is returning for his second stint in charge of Boso, conducted his first training session with the squad on Wednesday. He will take his place in the dugout on Sunday when Highlanders face Bikita Minerals at Gibbo Stadium. Now, de Jong's return comes at a crucial juncture with Boso struggling for form in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. Now, the team has managed only 2 wins in their last 15 matches, leaving them among 10 clubs entangled in the relegation fight. Now, up next, Highlanders travel to Gibbo for a date with Bikita Minerals on Sunday. In another sports story, Zimbabwe made its mark at the 21st African Courage Championships in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, Jonathan Mr. Matt Muvingi scooped gold and silver, earning qualification for the World Cup, while two young wrestlers, Sibo Simbi and Tawana Nyasha Taruvinga, also clinched medals in their categories. Now, Courage is a traditional Central Asian style of wrestling that's known for its upright stunts, throws and takedowns. Now, Mr. Matt expressed joy over Team Zimbabwe's impressive outing at the tournament, emphasizing the importance of preparation and sponsorship for upcoming tournaments.
tikakwanisa kunoachiuya nemamedals takakosokuya ne5 medals tine mufaro wekukwalifai kwatakaita kuinda kumaworlds tinovimbisa kuti tichabuda zvakanaka nyaya ingoripo inyaya yekuti parikudiwa preparation in time nenyaya yesponsorship movement pakuinda chii kumaworlds tinovimbisa kuti gold or silver zvinouya kumusha.
Now, Zimbabwe National Boxing and Wrestling Control Board CEO Priscilla Kadungure revealed that Zimbabwe is being considered to host the 2026 African Courage Championships.
Impressive performances by Mr. Jonathan and Sibel as well. They both qualified for the World Senior Championships, so even Sibel was qualified for the championships together with Mr. Matt, though she is actually graduating from the amateur side. And we are incredibly proud that Zimbabwe is being considered.
Now, FC Platinum look to find their winning formula this weekend when they welcome Caps United at Mandava Stadium in a crucial clash. We get more in the following.
FC Platinum held the longest unbeaten run of the 2025 season, going 22 matches without defeat to stay in the title race. But that streak crashed to an end on Matchday 23 when they suffered a 5-2 defeat to Scotland in front of a stunned home crowd. The loss brought to an end a strong spell where they scored 10 goals in 6 matches and only conceded twice. Since then, they've lost twice more in the league and crashed out of the Chibuku Super Cup in the very first round. This weekend, they face a Caps United side hovering dangerously above the relegation zone. Both teams are desperate for points, making the match feel like a must-win. FC Platinum, however, may take confidence from beating Caps United in the reverse fixture and playing at home.
As of us, very important game for us, and playing at home, like I always say, it's all about taking advantages of us playing at home, although we have been having some challenges of late, especially playing here. But look, it's a game of football. We are going to the last few kilometers of the marathon.
Despite the possibility of home advantage coming into play, FC Platinum coach expects a tough battle against Caps United.
Currently, they haven't been doing well of late. I think we are in the same category in terms of what has transpired in the last 3 weeks. Ever since Ian came to coach Caps United, they've been doing well.
FC Platinum are 10 points behind the log leaders, but with a game in hand and everything still to play for in the run-in.
In terms of destiny, I think it's still in our hands, and we have to fight for it, because it's not going to be easy. Come end of the season, it's not going to be easy. But if you really want to get something out of this competition, we have to really work hard.
With 9 rounds of matches remaining, the 2025 PSL season enters a defining stage as FC Platinum and Caps United, like many other sides, chase objectives at opposite ends of the table.
And that wraps up Thursday's bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Watson Isonsole. Have a good night.